All righty. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hello, I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the NetCapital team. So excited to have everybody here for our February demo day. I'm joined by the magnificent folks from Be Assured, Imotobank dealership, and Innovis Power. So I'm really looking forward to each of them sharing about what they are building and how you can join their family, so to speak, through investing. All right. Philip, I took you on mute just for a moment there, just to make sure that it stayed quiet for a moment, but you can come off mute. Why don't you come online and tell us a little bit about what you're building with a Motobank dealership?
All right. So my company is called Imotobank, and we are an internet-based car dealership, which is very different than most car dealers that just happen to sell cars online. We go back to 2001, and we were one of the pioneers on eBay to sell cars when they didn't even have a category for cars. So primarily, the biggest difference between us and most people that sell something online is we actually have a human being that when you reach out to us, you'll get a person on the line, and we'll share our computer screen and do a live demo and sell cars all over the country and actually all over the world, and to some pretty prominent people sometimes as well. We do a lot of interesting logistical things pretty quick. I'll tell you a quick story, and that is on a Saturday morning, I was shipping a car to New Jersey to put it on a roll-on, roll-off to a guy's ski house in Austria. And I called him, said, I can get it to you faster if you want. So at noon in Walpole, Massachusetts, he agreed, and we put it on the truck at 1 p.m. on Sunday. One day later, it was in Austria because it went on Lufthansa cargo. We do unusual things, and we learn from them, and we take notes. We have about 17 people that work in my company. We're a profitable company. We made 15 million in sales in 2023. Year to date, I got the numbers today, and we have 2 million in sales in the last 6 or so weeks. And so what we really need to do is we need the capital to expand our footprint physically. I sat in a $20 million building before I owned this company, and I said, what does this building do to add value to the consumer? And the answer was nothing. So we moved into an industrial park and began selling cars online. Companies like ours are pretty nimble, and they usually make pretty good money if you're in the used car business and you know what you're doing. But what they really lack is the ability to understand the specialized knowledge that it takes to actually sell a car from A to Z online. Our record is 12 minutes. Some cold call that we received, somebody had mentioned that they liked our service, and 12 minutes later, we sourced a car that we didn't own, finished all the financing conversations, and did a bill of sale. And then we went and picked up a check, and 5 days later, the car arrived in the gentleman's driveway, and he was an architect, loved his car. And he'd been looking for some time. He went to many BMW dealers before he came to us, virtually. We carry about 80 to 100 cars. So we have full infrastructure here. Like I said, we have about 17 people that work here. So what's the purpose? Why should you invest in our company? What's going to make these outsized returns that we hope to share with everybody that joins us in this endeavor? We want to roll up what we do to the rest of the world. We want to contact and enlist a consortium of 50 to 100 car dealers across the country that are very good, nimble, used car dealers, maybe a mom and pop that you might like, or maybe even a top salesperson who doesn't quite have a car dealership but is really good at their craft. And we're going to put them under an umbrella of our company. I don't want to go buy everybody, because Wayne Huizinga did that, and I studied him. Waste Management did a really nice job buying everyone, but that's expensive and unwieldy and puts us in the same category as a CarMax and a Carvana. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is take all these individual people that are really great at what they do and give them scale. Giving them scale allows us to renegotiate insurance for everybody. It allows us to own a captive finance company. I have extensive background in captive finance. I have a degree in economics. And so the captive finance world can only be done effectively at scale. And most people won't give you a $500 million or $1 billion, which the car business elicits because cars are expensive, unless you have scale. So if we sign everyone up under our umbrella, we can handle the insurance, we can handle a captive finance company, We can have a captive warranty company. We can now renegotiate marketing because each of us spends $3,000 to $5,000 a month to have Car Gurus and Cars.com and all these other things. But as an umbrella, we can do it for much less money. But the most important and most wonderful thing that we can do is we can create a physical footprint so that when we deliver the cars to California and Florida and Texas to individuals, as we do every day, we can land it at one of our own constituents who can shake the client's hand and retain that client base forever. And so that's really the goal. If we never raised a dime, our company would be profitable. We'd be grateful for what God has given us, and it really is a blessed gift from the Lord to have a company. But what we'd really love to do is create community. Now, we don't think of community as just car dealers. Every customer that does business with us is part of our community. When someone reaches out to us, we're completely transparent. We fill orders. Can you imagine calling a car dealership and they have 50 or 100 cars that they're trying to really push on the customer? In our business, we don't do any of that. Number one, we have 50 to 100 cars and they're available. But if you don't love that car, we'll literally share our screen, fill an order, show how much we paid for the car, show them our margin, and say, my only job is to make sure you get the best outcome. And by the way, when the car lands at the customer's driveway, we stand behind it 100%. If they don't absolutely love the car at that point, we'll fill an order again, or we'll buy it back and give them all their money back with a smile. And we've been doing this for quite some time. So really, that's the heart of the matter. If you think about this, investing in a car dealership might not be the most exciting thing. It's just some mom and pop who sells cars. But imagine for a minute that your investment in our company creates a national footprint, that creates a consortium of people that can drive the cost of doing business down, drive the quality and transparency up, and then we're going to own the fintech, we're going to own the software, we're going to own the captive finance, the captive leasing, the captive warranty, and all of the big things on behalf of the consortium. Why would the consortium stay together? Well, our plan is for each person that joins the consortium, whether they're a dealer or an individual, will pledge to buy shares from our company for every car that they sell. So the company keeps growing in the interest and in the skin in the game. As we become more successful, all the shares will dry up, and eventually the shares will either grow in value or we'll take them to the next level, NASDAQ, private equity, whatever the exit is. And ultimately, I believe in my heart of hearts that there's an Amazon, a Google, a Walmart. Somebody wants to be in the car business, doesn't want to own all the brick and mortar. So if we do our job really well, there's probably somebody at the end of the gate that might want to take on this whole thing and give us an exit. And if they don't, we're happy to run it profitably forever and a day. I have a staff of 17 people, all of whom are younger than I am. And I'm grateful for their energy and all the things that they do to bring to our company. And I'm hoping many generations of car dealers will join us in what we're doing. So again, if you buy shares in our company, you're not necessarily taking much danger because we're an existing company that already does a bunch of business and we make money. We're really reinforcing our balance sheet, creating a larger footprint. The other thing that we do that's really unique is we beat the metrics in our industry tremendously. We have super low overhead. We're very dynamic on the phone with our clients. We're really thoughtful and able to receive calls. We answer our calls live 12 hours a day. And there's a lot of benefits to our clients from having that relationship. Even though we haven't met many of them, we have a personal relationship. They call us up and say, I bought a car 2 years ago, and I'd like to buy another one. Or I have a cousin or an uncle. We would like to create and recreate that goodwill with other great individual car dealers so that we become a community, not just car dealer community, but a community of people that love to do business together on so many levels. And because we are able to drive our costs down, none of the big companies can communicate or can compete, not communicate. None of them can compete with us on a pricing level. By the time you pay for their $20 million building and their 3 layers of management, they can't compete. And I don't want to be that organization. I want to be an organization of nimble, fast-moving, individual car dealers and individual people that are really terrific at their craft, but that have the ability to act like a giant consortium for negotiating and for all the things that require scale. You could call it vertical integration. And I learned a lot of this from many different experiences I had in life, one of which is I went to college for 5 years at Calvin University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I mentioned I have a degree in economics. I have half a degree in engineering. My mom's an aeronautical engineer. My dad's a mechanical. My kids are mechanical engineers. But the cool thing about going to school in Grand Rapids is I got to work at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel 30 years ago. I was a banquet server. And I learned that Amway doesn't just like put all these salespeople together and drive you crazy. They're so much smarter than that. They own the farm that grows the material that they make into their shampoo that they distribute to an end user. And I want to do that in my industry. I want to have that massive consortium of people, and we're going to own the finance company, we're going to own the warranty company, we're going to own the insurance responsibility, we're going to own all these things at a scale that works. And from cradle to grave, no matter what you do in the automobile business, shipping and everything else, you'll have a relationship with the Imotobank family of dealerships all over the country. That's it.
No, that's super exciting, Philip. I love how you're able to cut down on costs and be really thoughtful about improving the experience through technology. A couple questions came in here. Who do you see as your competitors? So we could talk about competitive landscape. And actually, I like to add on to that question. Can you talk about different defensibility and IP and how you differentiate yourself from the competitive landscape there?
Sure. So there's everybody who wants to be in the car business has different levels of experience and different levels of capability. So if we were to compete on a daily basis, you'll see our cars online, so to speak, parked online, right next to those from all the majors of Carvana and CarMax and all the other major dealerships. But the biggest difference is our overhead is lower. Because our overhead is lower and we're nimble, we're always just a few dollars less expensive than they are. Even if it's just 500 or 1,000, as most people shop online, they always hit the button, lowest one first, and they call that dealership first. And if we do a really great job, we almost always retain the opportunity to sell a car to that consumer. So that's the one thing. As far as what gives us defense in the IP world, we've developed a lot of things that nobody else knows how to do. We actually share screens, which no other car dealership does, and it short circuits the entire relationship with a customer. Customer calls up and says, I'd like to come down Saturday, 5 days from now. Our answer is, we'd love to see you Saturday if that's what you'd like to do. But what time do you work until? And they'll say 5, 5:30. We'll say, are you free at 5:45? I'd like to have a quick meeting with you, and it'll save you hours of driving. And before they drive here for 2 hours, we finish and sell them a car in 15 or 20 minutes. And they say, well, I just can't believe I bought a car online. I didn't expect to do that tonight. I said, you know what? You don't have to fret about it. It's a great thing that you didn't drive 3 hours here from Maine or New Hampshire or wherever. Your car will arrive at your door in 5 days, and nobody knows how to do that. They say they do, but because of the corporate world that we live in, how afraid everybody is of losing a buck, there's so much fine print, and there's not a fine point on goodwill. And that is probably the most defensible thing. We don't mind taking a blow on a car to make a customer happy. And most car dealerships and most big corporations will set off red flags and go nuts. As long as we do well in all the other cars, that one problem child becomes a blessing. You can see on some of our Google reviews, we have a 4.5-star Google reviews. We have hundreds of them. Not every platform has great reviews for us, but Google is where everybody puts stuff. And in the Google reviews, you'll find that customers will say, even though I had an issue once in a blue moon, this company was thoughtful. This company cared. And believe it or not, that's a lot of IP. The second part is actually the process of how we take care of our clients in a live meeting. They can't do that. They want to do static. They want to throw everything up online so you hit a button. Consumers like to spend $20 on Amazon or $50 on Amazon or $100. But when they're going to spend $20,000 to $50,000, they'd like a human being to give them feedback. We've perfected that. And we perfected it in such a manner that every client gets personal feedback and doesn't feel uncomfortable because we've told them up front, we're going to also fill an order. You don't realize it, but you go online to our computer and you'll see 50 to 100 cars. We actually have a trading platform that has 250,000 cars a week that goes through it. We've become the conduit to that. It's like going to level 2 or level 3 when you're trying to look at Wall Street and buy stocks. We trade cars like people trade equity. And we know exactly how to do that. We know exactly how to take that and shape it so it's palatable, comfortable, and actually enjoyable for a client.
No, I love that. And you're absolutely right. Goodwill is such an important asset there in the business world. I love that you really kind of cater to your customers. I think it's super exciting, the model where as you do more volume, you actually get more skin in the game from an ownership standpoint. I love, kind of making sure you have kind of mutually assured success, or you kind of grow in the right direction together. And I heard you were talking about Google reviews, so maybe the Be Assured folks and the Imotobank folks could do some conversations offline and see how you guys can work together on that. So but I want to be thoughtful on time. Thank you so much, Philip. Remember, stick around, please. We're going to do some closing remarks in just a moment. I did add the link into the chat there where you can learn more about Imotobank and you too can invest. You can click the link there. You can go to NetCapital and search Imotobank dealership, or you can go to netcapital.com/company/Imotobank dealership, Imotobank dealership. So definitely feel free to review that, learn more, and you too can join the family there. So back to you, Philip, here with Imotobank. Why is now the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and invest in your company?
Well, thank you. The thing I didn't talk about was scalability. We run a profitable company, and when you put money into our company, we're using it to expand an already profitable company, and we're mostly putting that into inventory money. Why? Because we're like a stockbroker. When we buy more inventory, not a broker, but an investor, we get a larger return. We're already covered on all of our bases as far as our overhead. And the scalability is pretty simple. Once we sign agreements with other people, we're not taking on additional costs. We're only taking on additional revenue from them because it's just based on an agreement. And what makes us sticky, what makes it work that they can't leave, is we're building infrastructure for them that's financial, fintech type infrastructure, software type infrastructure, being able to share screens and things like that into one big bundle that they will never find anywhere else with the level of expertise that we have. We were doing what everyone else is doing now 10 years before them. So funding us today brings the return on investment timely and with safety. Many other companies, you put money in and you hope they throw it on the wall and it sticks. We've already have a running and profitable company. So if you put money in today, you're just pouring gasoline on a fire.
Very cool. That's a great place to be on the investment journey there. Thank you so much for that, Philip. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you all.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, NetCapital team.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everyone.
Our pleasure. Thanks, team. Bye now.
Bye-bye.